A little background to this gospel that you might find helpful in understanding it. The tradition was that there was a marriage covenant and they were married from that point on, but they didn't live together. And then after the families had been arranged and all the financial accoutrement had been taken care of, then there was a procession where the bride would go and come and the bridegroom would come and pick up his bride and take her, not physically, but lead her to his home. So, and that was a big thing, and being part of that bridal procession was an important part of being part of the wedding. You know, like being a bridesmaid or a best man today. So they were waiting for the procession and fell asleep. There's no condemnation for them falling asleep. The second thing is, how are they supposed to go off and buy oil in the middle of the night? Well, it turns out, and I just found this out this year, the tradition was people slept hours and got up and all the stores were open from midnight till about 2 in the morning. That everybody got up and did business. Cool of the evening, you know, they had a couple hours of sleep, got up, worked, sold things, opened the marketplace, and then went back to bed after a couple of hours and slept. So it was not unreasonable at midnight to go get oil from the merchants. Again, oil is not the point of the story. The point of the story is be prepared. Prepared. Matthew makes this point in more than one place. And it's the same point that's made at the end of the Sermon on the Mount. And that is, hearing the Word of God is nothing if you don't act on it. In one ear, out the so what? It only makes a difference if you act on it. That's the preparation. You live that gospel. You make efforts to follow as a disciple, to live according to the good news of Jesus Christ. You make that effort. That's the preparation. That's the preparation to get into the kingdom. And that's the preparation we should be involved in now. Look at it much more personally. Each of us is going to die. We do not, for the most part, know the where or the when. We don't even really know the how, but we know the fact. We're all going to die. Again, do we just kind of have an intellectual awareness of that, or do we live as someone who knows that the things of this world are not ultimately important, that the things of this world are passing away, and that I've got something much more significant going on and a place far that the Lord is calling me to if I prepare? I think a reasonable question to be asked, although it may not seem reasonable, is if you were told you had 2 weeks to live, what would you do differently than you're doing now? That's a worthwhile reflection. If you were told you had 2 weeks to live, what would you do differently than you're doing now? I mean, apart from maybe you wouldn't go to work. The answer should be very little. I'd pretty much do what I'm doing now. I'd pretty much act the way I'm acting now. I'd pretty much be with people and treat people the way I treat them now. I'd pretty much make the judgments that I make now. They'd be pretty much the same. There might be relationship messes that I would try to clean up, maybe. Some healing I might try to do in relationships with others, some forgiveness I might seek from others that I might have offended or wounded. But it shouldn't be much. much. In general, I should live as somebody who's prepared, somebody who is ready to answer the call, somebody who can say yes. The way I put that, and I've had it thrown back at me several times, but I hope you remember, is keep your bags packed. Keep your bags packed. That's the message of this gospel. Be prepared. Act on what you've heard. Not one ear and out the other. Not some little add-on to, everybody should have a religion. I got one of them. But do I really live that faith? Does it really constitute the goal of my life? Does God really constitute the center of my life? In the midst of all kinds of other things, but the rear of my life. That's the preparation for the kingdom that hopefully we are all trying to have. And we all hopefully are keeping our bags well packed.